Without viruses, there would be no life at all on Earth. National Geographic, February 2021, had an article showing that life would be impossible without viruses. Viruses are the building blocks of all life on Earth. Viruses are responsible for all the biodiversity on Earth. Viruses cause all of the change over time in organisms over time. Viruses actually cause evolution and biodiversity. Viruses clearly explain how organisms are related to each other and have common ancestries. Viruses answer the question, how was life created on Earth? All organisms, animals, plants, and funguses, have DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, ribonucleic acid. They have proteins and enzymes also. All viruses are made up of DNA, RNA, proteins, and enzymes, just like all organisms. DNA has gene codes that express the appearance, structure, and function of each life form. RNA has gene codes that build the proteins the life forms need to live. All viruses have specific links to specific cells with specific information. So each virus is intended for a specific cell. They're all different. For a specific cell and a specific animal. A virus for a deer can only connect to a deer. A virus for a bird can only connect to that specific species of birds that that virus is designed for. And all viruses are different. Viruses, we live amongst clouds of viruses. Viruses are everywhere in countless numbers. They are in the soil, in plants, animals, fungus, and bacteria. A teaspoon of coastal seawaters contains millions of various viruses for fish, invertebrates, crustaceans, and sea mammals. Viruses are not considered alive or dead. Viruses exist on Earth in clouds of many different varieties and shapes and links and everything, specific to specific birds, frogs, insects, mammals, etc. These clouds of virus in the surface air and swarms in the coastal waters are the most abundant biological entities on Earth. There are more viruses than there is anything else on Earth that's alive. If you counted all the bacteria, people, bugs, insects, funguses, you would not have more than there are viruses. They say there are more viruses than there are stars in the universe. Each virus has a special key and little appendages on it that fit to a specific port on the specific cell that they are designed to connect with. When the right virus connects to its specific cell, the virus enters the cell, and then the cell makes millions of copies of the DNA, RNA, proteins, and enzymes, and even makes complete copies of the virus. Now these viruses go viral. They go out to all the cells in the organism, and they splice themselves into a specific segment of the existing DNA, the total DNA of the organism, or the RNA of the organism. Wow. Do you see what that's happening? The virus brings information to a specific animal cell, that information gets copied and gets put into the DNA of that cell permanently. So it's a virus designed to give specific information to a specific cell with a specific place for it to go. A clear example is the common cold virus. Every cold season gives you a new genetic information every year. Flu virus contain new RNA information, a little different every year. Colds and flus are like program updates for our existing gene code makeup. The new genetic information is passed to the next generation, changing it a little at a time. These little viral changes explain the evolutionary tree. As you trace the viruses backwards, It shows the ancestral relationships to each other. So things were built with viruses. The first cell had a virus, and then it got another virus, and everything was built one virus at a time. Each gene code of every organism was built by little segments of viruses. The new genetic information is passed to the next generation, changing at a little time. These little viruses explain, okay, I said that. Okay, all horses are related to the ancient horse Eohippus. Viruses change that small horse into the magnificent horses of today. Cold and flu viruses also contain a little memory chip that knows that it caught the seasonal cold or flu. It triggers the cells to produce antibodies that block you from getting the same cold or flu twice. Wow. These antibodies do not protect you from next season's colds and flus. Colds and flus have been enriching the genetics of people since Adam. Cold and flu symptoms are the price we must pay. Many healthy or young people catch colds and flus with no symptoms. Everyone catches colds and flus from the clouds of viruses that are ever present every season in our environment. Fungus and bacterial diseases are living cells that spread from one animal to another. Viruses connect directly from the environment. Viruses are rarely spread from one person to another from coughed out viruses contained in water droplets. Most people believe that this is the only way a virus spreads, although it rarely spreads that way. A virus did not come out of a lab in China and go from one person to another. Those viruses were ever present in the world. They were in New York City, they were in Wuhan, they were in the Philippine Islands, all at the same time. Everyone caught the virus from the environment. It didn't start in one place and spread around the world, because that would be impossible. And the time it would take for one virus to sneak out of a lab, multiply in a person, and then spread to the next would take forever. And viruses have come around every year, and everyone gets them every year. Now, scientists say they mutate, but they are different every year. How do they get different? We don't know how they're different, but every year it's a different virus. Last year's cold is not the same as this year's cold. And next year's cold is not going to be the same from this year. Now, they've been naming these viruses different names each year, but it's been the same common cold that's been going on since Adam. The virus is not an infectious disease. It is a benefit to the organism. It makes every organism better and better as time goes on. And of those who you want the Bible to validate what I'm saying, viruses are words. They are codes. They say something. They say, build this protein, make the eyes blues, make the hair black. They all have words that tell your DNA what to do. In the Bible, it said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So viruses are created by God each season to give new DNA to each organism, making it better and better every generation. And it also says God created man from the dust of the earth. Well, what's the dust of the earth? The little viruses are the dust of the earth. They're everywhere. They're in clouds. Everywhere you look, they go right through you. You go right through your mask, right through your clothes, through your skin. They go right through you. But if a virus that's meant to connect to the human respiratory system goes through you, it goes in, it finds your human respiratory cell, its little key fits perfectly to the human respiratory cell. That human respiratory cell welcomes the virus and then copies it and sends it out to all the other viruses. So viruses are not deadly diseases, but they are an important part of nature, and there would not be me here talking about it if there were not viruses. There would be nothing on earth. There would be no life without viruses. So stop avoiding the virus and accept that they're here and everywhere. You can't get away from them, and you don't want to get away from them. Thank you.
It's been Michael Cassella.
Michael Cassella, owner of Age of Aquariums in Cookeville, Tennessee. I'm a biologist and have been studying viruses for 15 years. I originally came out with a viral evolutionary theory, where viruses cause evolutionary change, not random mutations. It doesn't make any sense, because by the time the mutation could catch up to the change in the environment would change. Viruses are proof of intelligent design, and everyone understands a computer program. You're the DNA, the virus has new information, and a special link to your DNA gives your DNA new information, making it better and better every year. Viruses are God's high-tech microchips that improve and create his organisms one virus at a time. Fact check everything I've said here. You'll find nothing that isn't completely true. I challenge all
Commenters,
all
everybody.
all
All
like
right.
infectious disease experts.
Alrighty. Thank
Thank you.
you.